Greetings and salutations, guys. It's your girl Zsa Zsa, and you are listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, y'all already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to add more to it. Listen, if you are tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. Y'all, I got my tea, okay? Listen, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Listen, the sun has come out for a little bit today. I'm so super grateful. If you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And we're talking all about peace in this place. And I'm super duper grateful because, as you know, this week has been a somber week because of the transitions that we've had in terms of some of the lives that have been lost. And of course, you know, it is a tragic thing when you anticipate or expect longevity. And so if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and I'm your girl, Zsa Zsa. Listen, we have the activities of our limbs. We ain't in nobody's jail. We ain't in nobody's hospital. And listen, we got the activities of our right mind, okay? And if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and we're talking about peace in this place. But I wanted to talk to you guys today about, looking for peace in every situation. And this week, it definitely let us know, starting off this week with something so tragic as the death of our beloved Kobe Bryant, a phenomenal athlete, as well as an amazing parent. And I know that I did a video about how death can affect us. And I'm not trying to bring the mode down, because y'all know I'm lively and full of life. And in order for you to live your life to the fullest, you have to also have that same determination that you're going to live your life to the fullest, even if that means living your everyday life to the fullest, and that means just relaxing at home with your family. Those opportunities that we take for granted when we don't have our, when we lose family or we lose our loved ones, and we take those opportunities for granted. If you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about peace in this place. And one of the things that I've learned is in having my desire to have peace, I also have to thank the creator that created peace itself. And I hate the fact that tragedy often leads us to God. When things don't go right in our lives, we oftentimes only resolve to God when there's tragedy. We only tend to want to pray when things aren't going our way. We only tend to want to look to God and call on God when we anticipate or want something from God ourselves. And one of the things that I know that my blessings come from is the fact that I'm grateful for every blessing that I have. I'm grateful when my little car is on E and I get to make it to all my destinations and back home. I'm grateful to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when I decide that I don't feel like cooking. I'm grateful when I have the opportunity for somebody to give me some type of favor, or I get a discount wherever I go. And, those things make you thankful for your day-to-day operations. You don't want to wait to be thankful when you get those things that you're desiring. You want to be thankful just for air in your body. You want to be thankful for the activities of your limbs. And when I start the show and I say those things, I don't say those things just because it's a cliche. Being able to lift up a cup, put it up to your mouth, take the beverage that's in the cup, allow it to go down your esophagus, digest this way into your stream, go through you, digest through you, urine it out, have a toilet to flush it in, and going on about your business is a blessing. And at the end of the day, I don't care if you living in a one-bedroom shack with 5 kids in there, having a roof over your head is a blessing. And one of the things that I've been grateful to understand is death a lot more. And I think sometimes we want to run from it because we want to run from things that we seriously need to talk about in our community. We don't wait to talk about death when we sitting around talking about the person that didn't die. I mean, seriously. we learn so much about people after they dead and gone. When we have the opportunity to develop those relationships while they are alive. I asked my mom before she died, just about my grandmother, about my grandmother's side of the family, people that I never had met. We don't know. You could be out here dating your cousin right now, and then lo and behold, somebody died, and then you go to the funeral, and then you find out you've been dating your cousin the whole time. It happens. It happens. But we shouldn't wait for tragic things to develop those relationships with other people. Nor should we wait. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about peace in this place. Nor should we wait to love on one another when tragedy happens. And I said this in my video when we all had discovered that, Kobe Bryant and all the other passengers along with his daughter had passed away. Don't wait till somebody died or something tragic happened to want to tell everybody you love them. I think that's so super weak to me. Do I think that it's admirable to take that step and that your heart has been pricked by the tragedy, but that shouldn't be your determining factor as to why you share your love with other individuals. Love should lead you every day you walk out that door. Every day that you walk out that door, you should be trying to figure out, how can I share more love? How can I spread more love? How can I be more of a blessing to other people? Because as you see, every day that you walk out your door, walking back in it is a blessing. Some people walk out their doors every single day and they don't return. I was just talking to one of my good friends, and she was telling me how one of her former coworkers was leaving work, and she was saying how she wasn't feeling good. And they had been calling her, went by her house, she wasn't there, went by her boyfriend's house, she wasn't there, only to find out that she died in the parking garage. So if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. She died in the parking garage. She never even made it home. She said she was going to go lay down and go take her a nap and go and sleep it off. But the thing about it is that when you live your life at peace, there are things that should not have to rattle you. They shouldn't shake you. You shouldn't feel like, oh, I got to get my life together now because this has happened. Every day I write down my goals for the next day. And there are things that I get to and I get done. And then there are some things that I don't get to. And I don't overexert myself or stress myself out because I didn't get to point C, D, E, and F, but I got A, B, and C done. I did a good job. And then there are some days where I don't feel like doing nothing, and I think that's okay too. Everybody deserves to have I don't feel like doing nothing day. Because if you don't, what will happen is you'll be stressed out, you yelling at your mate, you yelling at your kids, you frustrated, you snappy, you irritated, and some of you don't know how to break away and have a peaceful place. We all need a place of peace to go to rejuvenate our thought process and our mindset. Because you would hate to be frustrated with whatever you're going through, and you get into it with your significant other, your kids, your co-workers, your spouse, and your last words are ugly. I talked about in my video on Sunday or Monday about how my father and I had words before he had passed, and I called him on Thanksgiving to apologize and to talk to him and see how he was doing, because I didn't know that the very next day that my father was going to be committing suicide. So at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you go live a peaceful life and you find a place of peace so that you don't say things that you will regret. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, this show is brought to you by PBA Royal. If you're looking for your children to sign up to be a part of acting, modeling, pageantry, media, music, listen, PBA Royal is where it's at. Google it. Look it up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, PBA Royal. They're always looking to enroll children, young people, so that way they can secure their future with what it is that they want to do. And you want to make sure that you have your children sign up for PBA Royal. Pageant Atterbury is the owner, and she will take amazing care of your children, grandkids, if they're looking to be a part of some amazing activities. But if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and we're talking about peace in this place. When you live your life of peace, you don't look for chaotic situations. And when you see a chaotic situation coming, you make a quick U-turn. You ain't standing around watching the chaos unfold because you want to protect that peace. I've lived a life that was so chaotic, I found myself cringing with silence. Cringing because now it's quiet and I don't have the nagging of noise and the nagging of so much detrimental things that cause us to have that type of anxiety. And see, the thing about it is that when you live a peaceful life, you watch your words. You watch your words. You're not saying or spewing things out that you will regret. And I know that sometimes, look, in the heat of an argument, in the heat of a frustration or hormones is up and down, you say things that you don't mean and you oftentimes regret them because you're in that particular moment of frustration. And now you have to swallow those words and you have to eat those words. And see, we're so prideful where we won't say things like, I messed up, I shouldn't have said that. Because once it's out there, it's hard to take it back. People were reporting the demise of this young man and the other families, and they family didn't even know. The young lady who said, the Los Angeles niggers, she said it. Yeah, she said it. She might not have meant it, and it might have been by mistake, but she said it. People trying to report the news so insensitively without even regarding the people that they're reporting, they don't even know. And sometimes our words will be so loose, like diarrhea. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. They get so loose, and before you know it, you've said some things that you regret. You said some things to your baby mama, your baby daddy, your kids, your spouse, your friend. Before you know it, you have said some things that now you're cringing, but they out there. And we all have. Nobody has just walked a perfect life where they didn't say things that they didn't mean, that they wish they would have said. But we have to get to a maturity point in our lives where we can say, I made a mistake. Because we all make mistakes. We all have said some things to our lovers. Yeah. That we didn't mean, but because we were hurt and because we were frustrated, and at that moment we didn't really know the words to say that described how we felt. That's why we have to be careful when tragedy hits, where we all of a sudden now want to be lovey-dovey, and then once the tragedy and the news of it and the buzz of it dies down, now you're back to your nasty, stinking attitude self. And see, consistency is key. And when you allow love to lead in situations, you don't have to worry about that love returning back void. Because it won't. It won't. And it's so crazy because, you have to recall some things, some peace is hard to get. Because unfortunately, we Black. And for those of us that are African American, it gives other cultures an uneasy feeling of us. You go to the gas station, the Arabic people looking at us. You go to the beauty supply store, the Chinese people looking at us. You go to the liquor store, the Chaldeans is looking at us. You go in the grocery store, you go in the retail store. They are automatically focusing and zeroing in on your little black boy, your little black girl, your black husband, your black wife. They are automatically zeroing in. So it's unfortunately hard to find peace in certain areas that you should be able to find peace in, but because we are who we are, it can cause chaos and an uproar. But when you allow love to lead and you use discretion, everybody leaves a situation alive. You know, I remember growing up, and oftentimes we would have young boys get into it because somebody has stepped on their shoe. So many lives have been lost because somebody stepped on their shoe. Somebody tried to holler at their girl. Somebody called themselves trying to rectify a problematic situation with bullets instead of being able to have the intellect and the maturity to have the conversation. See, some of us go into situations upset, angry, and then we end up losing a war before we even got prepared for the battle. See, a lot of us, we walk around with a chip on our shoulder because we've been disappointed and we don't know how to redirect our feelings in the appropriate places and where they need to be. And so because we haven't identified or actually acknowledge what has really upset us and what causes us to not be able to sleep at night, or causes us to look at people in a way where we're always in defense mode, where we're always in a mode of, are they out to get us? Are they talking about me? You know, are they trying to set me up because of what has happened previously? So many of us are hindering our divine relationships because we don't know how to live a peaceful life. We snappy. We want to be right all the time. We don't want to look like we don't got our lives together. And see, when you live a life of peace, you're not trying to have chaos. See, so many of our young men have lost their lives because they didn't understand what discretion meant. Oh, my bad, man. I didn't mean to step on your shoes. My bad. Them some cold kicks, my brother. You know, I tell my son all the time because he's at a place right now where he can date grown women if he wanted to. My son like a grown man. And he's also at a place where other young men can become jealous because their girl likes him. And so I tell my son, there are going to be some times where you're going to have to throw them things. But by all means, try to avoid it if you can. Because every fight don't end with a loser. Some fights end in death. And there are a lot of young men that I saw out here running these streets where they couldn't fight. And when they would lose, when they lost the fight, they picked up a gun. And so they don't know how to lose. There are some people out here in this world that live such a chaotic life that they're not looking to resolve certain situations and everybody walk out peaceful. I've been into some situations and arguments with people, and we've had debates and discussions, and we didn't always agree, but everybody walked away alive. And see, sometimes when you are not allowing yourself to put your emotions where they belong, you can create a whole situation out of nothing. Have you ever seen somebody get into an argument over something so minute and so just trivial? You'll be wondering, like, why did they kill that girl? Dog, they was fighting over a pencil. Yeah, right. They was fighting over a pencil. I remember they was fighting online over some ramen noodles. Trivial. And then there are some people that actually lose their lives over thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Deals gone wrong, relationships gone bad, affairs, all types of things. People lose their lives because they don't know how to live a life of peace. When you live in a life of peace, sometimes trouble will follow you, especially if you lived a chaotic life and then you decide that now I want to go ahead and live a peaceful life. Because if you have not ended relationships well, on a good note, those relationships have the propensity to follow you, and they can become chaotic. It's like a crazy baby mama or a crazy baby daddy. You decide you don't want to be with them no more, but now that you're attached to them for the rest of your life, that chaos is now attached to you, and it has the propensity to follow you wherever you go. That's why you have to be mindful of the relationships that you cultivate and you develop. That's why you got to ask questions when you're dating and collecting data. It's not just because you want to be nosy. It's because you have the propensity to save your own life. if you see that a person is crazy when you first start dating them, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be even more crazy when y'all get in a relationship. We shouldn't be so quick to want to have a relationship and be with somebody that we're not protecting ourselves. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about peace in this place. When you are living a life that's peaceful, love leads. When you're doing things with love, you can say and apologize within a minute, within a second. Oh, I'm my bad. You step on somebody's shoe or you bump into them. You ain't even looking to be defensive or to be responsive or to come with your dukes up, because you live a life of peace. And the first response is, leading with love, is, my bad. I offended you. I apologize. Well, this is what I meant by it. Because when you're leading with love, you're looking to resolve a situation, not make matters worse. That's why you got to be careful of who you attach yourself to. Because if you definitely got to have some goons in your life, just in case, because you just never know how life goes. But you also want to have, everybody can't go with you everywhere. There are some people that I know that I can take them with me to the store. But I got a cousin that I can't take to the store with me. Because if I take him to the store with me, we probably going to end up fighting at the store. Because I live a life that's peaceful, I know that if I ever need my cousin for something to pop off, I know to go get that cousin. But see, I know that I can't take my cousin to a gala event, because the minute that somebody looks at him sideways, he's going to be trying to figure out, do old boy got a beef? Whereas he may just be admiring your suit or your sweater. See, there are some people that you can't take with you everywhere because they don't live a life of peace. Have you ever heard of a situation on the news or a friend of somebody that's at the wrong place at the wrong time? They didn't have nothing to do. They had nothing to do with nothing. But because somebody did not know how to communicate, they did not live a life of peace. They did not live a life to be a resolution and a solution, but they lived their life problematically and chaotic. And then somebody random suffers because of the lack of responsibility of somebody else not being able to handle the chaos in their life. And see, at the end of the day, we all have struggles. We're all struggling with a variety of different things. But that doesn't mean that you can't live your life every day peacefully, no matter how chaotic your life can become. I mean, I was literally suicidal, divorcee, mother dying. Now I got more brothers and sisters to take care of, more responsibilities. I'm just getting out of rehab. I'm just getting all my finances together because I didn't have to close my office. I didn't have to change out so many things. And now here it is. All of these things are happening all at one time. And in my mind, I'm thinking, this is not real. But every day I went out to events. I went out to people's fundraisers. And I was polite. And I gave respect when respect was due. You would have never known that I had all of these things, combination of things that was happening, because I did not allow my emotions and what I was going through to dictate how I dealt with people. And see, some of you have attitudes out of this world and you don't know how to allow the attitude to be applicable to who you got an attitude with. You don't leave the house with an attitude with your baby daddy and go cuss out the clerk at Family Dollars because you mad at him. Be mad at him. You don't go beating on your kids because of a friendship that went sour because you don't know how to talk to that person about what you're really dealing with. See, a lot of us don't know how to attach our attitude to the issue that you have, because we're not used to learning how to communicate with others. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about finding peace in the place. Because there are so many men that were affected by the death of Kobe Bryant. There were so many parents affected by the death of Gianna, Kobe Bryant's daughter, amongst the other daughters that played basketball, amongst the other children that were awaiting their arrival. And what that let me know is something that I've already known, is that death has no respect of person. Okay? Once death comes for you, it has you. There's nothing that you can do to revert back to stopping it from happening. See, at the end of the day, people who find challenges talking about certain subjects is because they have not made peace with those subjects. See, I don't have a problem with talking about death because I've made peace with death. And you say, well, Zsa Zsa, how can you make peace with death? And I'm going to tell you how you can make peace with death. I want you to sit and think about, for those that are listening under the sound of my voice, I want you to think about the moment in your life that brought you the most joy, the most peace. Whenever you think about this moment, it makes you smile. It could be the day your children were born. It could be the day you got married. It could be the day you got a raise. It could be the day you found out you were cancer free. It could be the day you started a business. It could have been whatever that time frame was. The joy, the positive vibes and energy that time frame, that moment in time brought you. And I want you to get that thought in your mind. And if you got that thought in your mind, let it marinate. And if you have not had that experience, then you need to keep living and making some more memories. But we're going to talk about memories in a minute. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about finding peace in this place. Now that you got that memory in your mind of the great thing, that wonderful thing, that joyous thing, I want you to go and I want you to find that memory of the time where you felt like crap. The time where you felt like you wanted to die. The time frame where you felt like you almost died, could have died. That thin moment of time where you could have lost your life. That accident that could have killed you and your family just like that. That bullet that went through your house. That food that could have killed you. That moment in time where you could have taken your own life. That's when you know you've made peace with death. When you can think about all of the joyous moments and all of the moments where you could have lost your life. See, a lot of us should be dead right now, me included. For my own folly, from other people's folly. I remember being on a freeway and a car was coming, didn't have no lights on, getting on the freeway, headed straight into me. They missed me by inches and ran smack dap into the median. How many of us have stories like that? Where we have these close calls and these close encounters of how we should have been dead and how we should have lost our lives and how somebody should be talking about who they used to know and looking at our obituaries. But at the end of the day, God gave us another chance and another opportunity, and we have to make sure that we don't squander that opportunity. That's why every day, despite what it looks like, you should be thankful. Yeah, you may be broke. Yeah, you may be struggling. Yeah, you may be sick. Yeah, you may be frustrated. Yeah, you may be dealing with some situations, but at the end of the day, you're dealing with those situations. So because you have the opportunity and activities of your limbs and breath in your body to deal with the situation, means that situation is not going to overthrow you. I promise you all, in 2017, I thought every day I was going to have a heart attack. Literally. And for those of you who've ever felt heart palpitations in your chest or irregular breathing, or you felt something in your mind or your brain and it just felt weird. Your physical felt weird. And a lot of us ignore those health signs because we all are chasing success, but your success is nothing without your health. I know every wealthy person right now that is sick in their body, all they wish for right now is a cure. Anybody that's sick right now that got bukus of money in their bank accounts wish that they could go and get a cure to fix whatever is going on in their body. Steve Jobs died a billionaire. but could not fix his health. So we can't ignore things that go on within our spirit realm that's telling us go get things checked out. But in 2017, I felt like every day, because my life was so chaotic, that I was gonna die. And now that I'm in 2020, there's nothing that can stop me, scare me. I'm still getting on the plane. I'm still getting on the train, taxi cab. Listen, I'm not allowing the fear and the tragedies of other individuals stop me or allow me to forfeit my purpose or my destiny because tragedy struck somewhere else. And see, a lot of us won't ever fulfill our destinies and what God has assigned to you because of fear of what has happened to other people. Being broke and being embarrassed comes along with the territory of success. It's the majority of most success stories. The difference between some success stories and others, everybody won't really tell you what they've been through. Everybody won't tell you, I went broke before I got the money. Everybody won't tell you I had near-death experiences while I got the surgery. Yeah, I got a new booty and some new breasts, but I almost died. They ain't gonna tell you that. They ain't gonna tell you, I lost my family before I have this beautiful new wife and these new children. See, everybody won't tell you about the chaos that they had to go through to get to the peace. And see, when you make peace with death, you can look death in the eye and say, you don't scare me. What's good? I remember having to walk the treacherous streets of Joy Road, and I ain't no night walker. But I've seen death a many a times. It's a shootout happening over here, and I got to get to running or ducking behind a tree so that I don't die. And then what I'm going to do? Call somebody to come pick me up? I got to walk home. There are so many opportunities and divine relationships that God has in store for you. But because of the chaotic lives that we often live, it's hard to find peace in those relationships because you got so much going on. When I learned to cut the fat and cut the chaos to get to the protein and the meat of things, things started happening and moving for me. And so because you want things to move for you, you also can't half do things. See, one of the reasons why I'm so blessed is because when I link up with people, because I live my life so peacefully, when I link up with people, I don't give them half of me. I give them 100%, or I don't give them nothing at all. And see, some of you live a life of chaos because you're doing half-assing stuff. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. You half do things. And because you have love people, you have support people, you do things sloppy, you don't do things 100% wholeheartedly, and because that's what you give, that's what you get. And see, oftentimes we're upset because of what we receive, but it's because of what you've tolerated, what you've set the standard of. What you've set the standard of. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know Zsa Zsa because you do. Listen, if you are an active viewer and you want to be a guest on the show, listen, slide in my DM, send me your email. I would love to have you as a guest on my show. Today we're talking about finding peace in this place. Listen, if you need help with your business, make sure you schedule an appointment for help with your business as well as help with your nonprofit. You can schedule your appointment with Hubbard Resource Group. The number is 248-688-5861. Again, the number is 248-688-5861. And if you're tuning in, it's your girl Zsa Zsa. Share this video. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well. Listen, make sure if you have if you're filing your taxes, file your taxes with TNT Taxes. We are at 16,000 West 9 Mile and Providence Drive in Southfield Freeway. Listen, if you don't have time to stay, you can drop off your W-2s to me. We can get you the max for your tax and get you popping, so that way you can get your tax refund, because now we can e-file your taxes. If you're tuning in, you're listening to I said it, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. But we're talking about peace in this place. I'm not gonna allow fear to stop me from accomplishing my goals. Yes, it is tragic when people die unexpectedly. But death has a variation of phases. It's the phases of those people who live a long life, longevity. They die of old age. We're not really shocked or appalled when they die, because they're 80, they're 90, they're 70. They have lived a long life of trajectory. They've lived through decades. No, we don't want them to die. Yes, it makes us sad, but we say, man, I want to live to 80. I want to live to 90. I think about my mother. She died at 49. If I make it past 49, it's a blessing. But you have to think about, then you have those who die unexpectedly. It's not tragic. It's just unexpected. You see them one day and they gone tomorrow. And it's like, man, I just seen them. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. And it makes you think, like, man, I just seen them. And then there's the deaths that are tragic. The ones that happen too soon to little kids, or to families that get in car accidents or helicopter crashes, and it makes you clutch your pearls, and it makes you hug your family a little tighter, and it makes you want to say I love yous a little bit more. Death has a variation. It's those people who live a long life and you anticipate and expect for grandma and them to die. You don't want them to, but you expect it. And then you have those people who they die, and it's shocking. It's unexpected. Whether it's young, old, or indifferent. You're just shocked. You just didn't anticipate them to die. You just like, wow, I just seen them. I seen them at the grocery store. They looked well. And, you didn't anticipate for them to have any issues or any challenges. You become a little bit more aware of life when people that you are anticipating to see no longer are here. And then you have those deaths that are tragic, that they make you recalibrate your whole thought process. This whole week, I didn't even post anything this week. Like, I posted in my Insta stories, but I didn't really post on my pages because I was just in reflection mode. This whole week I've been in reflection mode on every day. I think about who I'm connected to, who I want to be connected to, what am I doing, why am I doing it, is it working, is it not working, what needs to change, am I effective, am I ineffective, what is an area that's in my life that's dying, what's an area in my life that's living, where do I need to put more energy. Every day I'm reevaluating my life, every day. I don't wait until tragedy strikes to reevaluate my life. I don't wait until tragedy strikes to love more. I love every day. Every person that comes in contact with me, I love on them. We joke, we laugh, because I don't know how life will change. God forbid something happens to me, but if it does, I'm okay. Because I know I've lived a life of peace. I know I've lived a life that's pleasing in the sight of God. And so if tragedy does strike and I leave this world unexpectedly, I know that I have touched souls. Anybody that's attached to me that has become a magnet of my life, I know I have affected you. I didn't infect you, I affected you. And see, there are people in your life that have affected you, and then there are some people in your life that have infected you. There are people in your life that have affected change in your life. Made you want to get a different hairdo. Change the color of your lipstick. Go get life insurance. Go get a new car. Go back to school. Go get married. Go give love another try. Those are people who have affected you. They have affected your life in a way that you have changed the trajectory of how it was going to go. And then there are some people in your life that have infected you. They have infiltrated your soul with something that you had to work on getting out of you or off of you. See, there are people that affect us, and then there are people who infect us. And so you have to learn the differentiations between people who affect you and people who infect you. And see, you have to learn the difference. Are you a person that is impactful and effective, or are you infectious? Are you the disease that's being spread? Because see, some of you are you're a walking chaos. You are walking drama. You are walking just people avoid you because you stay in mess. Have you ever seen somebody you work with, you be like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't even want to know. There are some people that are walking drama queens and kings, and they live their life dramatically. Stay away from them. Because you don't want to get to a point where you finally want to get your life together, but your past won't let you live because you've been attached to chaos for so long. And see, the thing about it is when you watching your words and you're watching how you deal with others, you don't have to worry about nothing getting lost in translation. See, that's why I'm not a big fan of texting. I like to talk, as you can see. Yeah, I said it before. I take it back. I'm going to add more to it. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you like me. Make sure you like my Facebook page. You like me on, share it, follow it, repost it, reshare it. If you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. We're talking about finding peace in this place. Because things can get lost in translation. Conversations can get lost in translation. Because at the end of the day, when a person is in a foreign land, you're using foreign language, me and you ain't speaking the same lingo. Because see, my vernacular is exceptional. I know how to talk to the people on the street corner. What's up? What's happening? What up, though? What's percolating? What's popping? What's good? But I also know how to change that vernacular when I get in the boardroom. Good evening. Good afternoon. How are you? No, it's an exceptional day today. I'm looking forward to this this amazing opportunity. So you got to learn how to switch it up, because things can get lost in translation. And depending on what type of land you in, that is the lingo that you got to use. And see, when you live a life of peace, you know which lingo to use in what area. You got to learn how to use certain lingo in certain areas in order to keep the peace. See, when I need to get things done, I know I got to put on Zsa Zsa that talks like this. That way, I know that whatever I would like to get done for that particular day will get done exceptionally well and expeditiously. But when I know that they trying to play me and I got to talk to them like, look, this is what's got to happen. This what you gonna do. This what I need you to do. And it got to happen right now. Because depending on the type of situation it is dependent upon the type of vernacular that you got to use to get it done. But when you live a life of peace, you have a spirit of discernment that says, okay, I don't have to use Joy Rose Zsa Zsa in this moment. This doesn't have to be a Joy Rose Zsa Zsa moment. This could be a boardroom Zsa Zsa moment. And you can handle this situation accordingly, where it's going to be peaceful for all parties involved. See, again, when I talked about in the beginning of this podcast, is that you want to make sure that when you leave situations, you leave those situations peacefully. But when you live a life of chaos and drama, you loose at the mouth. See, I don't want to be attached to no drama, no disrespect. And the minute that I sense it, feel it in my spirit, I want to cut ties immediately. Because if we can't get to a point where we can't communicate and effectively communicate, and there's a way that you can argue and disagree to agree. See, you got to also learn how to agree to disagree. And some of you get an attitude, don't want to be friends no more, don't want to talk to somebody no more because y'all don't agree. Everybody don't have to agree with you. And when you live in a life that's peaceful, you understand that. You understand that everybody doesn't have to agree with everything that you feel is okay. That's something that I've had to learn. Being a magnet and attracting people into my world and into my life, I've learned that everything that I feel, everything that I want to say, doesn't always have to be said at that moment, because I'm looking for peace. And see, when the individuals that lost their life this week, when they lost their life, their families are looking for peace in this chaotic situation. Nobody wakes up to think about, today I'm going to lose my loved one. So I'm saying all this to say, if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm your girl, Zsa Zsa, and we're talking about finding peace in this place. When you live a life that's peaceful, you make sure that your last words to one another are peaceful. You find ways to love on people every single day. And it doesn't mean that there has to be something tragic attached to me loving you. Because we're all going to have to give an answer to God. Whether you say you believe in Christ, Jesus, Allah, Holy Baba, I don't really care. We all are going to have to answer to God. And when we all answer to God, there's going to be judgment upon how you dealt with things, how you operated, how you dealt with the souls that were attached to you. See, unfortunately, Kobe Bryant is going on to glory, and so is his daughter. But he lived a life that was effective, not infective. And at the end of the day, when you live a life that's impactful, legends never die. Martin Luther King been dead a long time ago. Harriet Tubman been dead a long time ago. But when you live a life that's impactful, that's meaningful, it'll never die. We talk about Big Mama and them, my daddy and them, my mama and them. Listen, on February 22nd, 2020, we're going to be having the Hustle for the Heart Health Fair. It's the 4th annual fair that we give in remembrance to my mother. You go and you learn all the latest hustles. You do health screenings for blood pressure. This is in remembrance of my mother. And so when a person that's been impactful in your life, they never die. Their physical body no longer becomes present and prevalent in your day-to-day operation, but their spirit, their legacy, their knowledge, their wisdom, their intellect never dies. Because when a person is impactful, it goes on and on and on and on and on and on until the next person. I have a dream speech is something that will never die. You know why? Because it's being shared from generation to generation to generation to generation. Big Mama will never die as long as you keep passing on those generational blessings and wisdom and knowledge that they gave you. Nobody will never die if they're impactful and effective. When a person is effective and they have affected your life in a way that's positive, they never die. The things that my mother has taught me, they will never die. My seafood pasta salad is the bomb. And every time I make it is in remembrance of her. Every time I draw my eyebrows on and put a lash on or some lipstick, I'm thinking about my mother because that was what she did. Every time a kid picks up a basketball now, they're going to think about a Kobe Bryant. And yes, I do think it was some fishy in the game. Because at the end of the day, you have to be mindful that people will do anything to distract the main thing. People will do anything for $1. When you live a life that's chaotic, you always scrambling to try to make ends meet. You always trying to figure out how you gonna go about doing things. And don't get me wrong, people that live a peaceful life do the same thing, but they look at the situation a lot differently. Yeah, you might be overwhelmed with bills, but you say in your mind, say, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to overexert myself. I'm not going to stress myself out. I'll get to it when I get to it, and that's just that. But when you live in a life that's chaotic, you always trying to find out a hustle. You always trying to figure out how you going to finagle and scheme and scam off of somebody else, so that way you can have the upper hand. And at the end of the day, whether it's a conspiracy theory or not, that he was killed, that the airline, that the pilot, whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, that judgment is going to be on those individuals who decided to plot, scam, and scheme. My mother, her death was because of malpractice. And at the end of the day, the doctors, health practitioners, individuals who work on patients every single day, if they're not giving patients their 100% all to ensure that their health gets better, and that's another thing. We anticipate doctors to heal. Doctors do not heal. They treat. They treat diseases. They treat and they diagnose. They do not heal. We put so much emphasis on the healing of another person that we don't anticipate or expect God to heal. And that's why some things become shocking and tragic, because we don't look for God to heal. We look for doctors to heal. And so when auntie and mama and cousin and grandma don't get healed and they die in the hospital at the hands of physicians, we mad at God. But you can't be mad at God for anticipating that a doctor is going to heal your loved one or yourself. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about peace in this place. It's a hard thing and a hard pill to swallow when we lose our loved ones to whatever the case may be, when we haven't made peace with it. See, one of the things that people don't realize is that Vanessa Bryant and her family, once the funeral is over and the services are done and the doves have been released, they still have to deal with the death of their loved one. While we go back to snapping pictures and posting videos and back to our normal little lives, they still have to deal with the fact that they just lost a spouse and a father. See, after it's all said and done and everybody signs the obituary books and everybody gives you their condolences and they announce, let's keep our loved ones in prayer over the pulpit, you still have to deal with the memory that your loved one is no longer here. That's why peace is so important to obtain. Because if you don't, that person's death will cause you to drink, be mean, become depressed. And it's just not a person. It could be a dog. It could be the death of a friendship. It could be the death of a marriage, a death of a friendship, a death of a job. A lot of us don't understand how losing something really affects us, and we try to go on every day like we're okay, and we're not. We try to live as if things don't affect us, and they do. When you want to live a life of peace, you acknowledge that something is wrong. The minute that I started acknowledging that I was not okay internally and in my spirit, God was able to move in a place, and I was able to get back to that place of peace that I desired. But when you act like you're okay, knowing that your mind is in a whirlwind, your brain is doing this. And if you're not careful, your thoughts can affect your health. And next thing you know, you got pain in your back and in your shoulders. You ain't even did nothing. You can't sleep at night. You trying to figure out how you laying in the bed, you can't go to sleep. You're trying to count backwards, you're trying to count sheep, but you can't go to sleep because your brain is going like this. It's chaotic. Lack of sleep means there is some area in your life that's not at peace, that's not at rest. And when you can't have a peaceful sleep at night, that means that your spirit is wrestling with something. Have you ever had a good old peaceful, good old night's sleep from whatever. You could be drinking liquor. You could have smoked you some blunts. You could have had you some NyQuil. You could have drank you some tea. You could have had some great sex. But whatever caused you to have a peaceful night of sleep, you could have sent the kids off somewhere to Nana and them house, and you just finally went and took you a bath and got you some good night rest. Doesn't that feel so peaceful? Feel so blissful when you're able to have a surrounding of peace in your life. When you have that peace, you recognize immediately what is not peaceful. And you're able to put a stop to it before it infiltrates your spirit. That's what it means to be effective and infective. And you want to make sure that as you transition, don't allow death to harden your heart and harden your spirit, because you're hurting. One of the things that my brothers and sisters, and I told them when my father passed away, that we all should have went to seek therapy. It is important, and that's one of the things that the Kelly's Kids Foundation is working on, getting counselors for kids who have lost their loved one, who have lost their parent. This is not just going to affect Vanessa, this is going to affect the little sisters, because now there were once 4, there are now 3. Thinking about losing my brother, where there was once 7 of us or 9 of us, there's now 8. And you don't never think about as a kid that you're going to grow up and lose one of your brothers or sisters. Nobody wakes up and thinks about losing somebody that they love. That's why it's important to allow love to lead in your decisions. That's why it's important. Sometimes I have to take a deep breath and a deep breather so that I'm not going to say things that I'm going to end up regretting. And a lot of us, we speak with emotion, and our tone gets out of whack because we don't know how to talk accordingly and deal with situations accordingly. And if things are affecting you, we have to make sure that we are dealing with them the right way. Because at the end of the day, all of us could have been dead if we really want to think about it. If we really sit down and think about all those close calls. All those close calls. So there's a reason why God has allowed you to live your life up until this point. So go further. Go deeper into what it is that you want to do. Don't wait. And it's a quote that's going around that Kobe Bryant has said is one of the biggest mistakes that we have is thinking that we have more time. I talk about this little story. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about peace in this place. I often tell the story when I go out and speak. One of my keynote speaking is death after a funeral. And I talk about how my mother was getting ready to turn 50. And I was getting ready to turn 30. She was 49, I was 29. And I wanted to throw a big, stupid, dumb party for her 50th, right? Just ignorant. I wanted to just throw a super party. But God kept saying, no, do it now. And I kept saying, no, man, she gonna be healed. She gonna be set free, delivered. We gonna throw a dog party. She gonna be 50. God kept saying, no, do it now. And I kept saying, man, no, she only 49. That's dumb. That's a dumb number to celebrate. You got to celebrate 50. This is my thought process. Share this video. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. I kept saying, no, that's dumb. Why would I celebrate her 49th birthday when I can celebrate her 50th? But God kept saying, do it now. And I kept saying, but no, she gonna get healed. She not gonna die. She did. Look, we gonna celebrate this birthday for her 50th. But God kept saying, do it now. And I finally said, you know what? We gonna throw mama a birthday party. We gonna invite everybody. Whoever come, they come. Whoever don't, we ain't tripping about it. I threw my mother her birthday party. This was November 29th on her birthday in the rehabilitation center. This was November 2014. My mother died March 24th, 2015. If I would have waited, I wouldn't have never been able to celebrate while she was alive. I am saying all of that to say, celebrate every day as if it's your last. Let love lead in every decision that you make. Look for peace in every situation. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Listen, you know Zsa Zsa because you do. If you're looking for a keynote speaker, if you're looking for a panelist to be a part of your program, listen, book your girl because she's trying to stay booked, busy, and blessed. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Peace.